But you can follow things that catch your interest, things that you know to be real, things that you know to matter, things that you know to be beautiful or disturbing or taking you into the future in some way. That isn't the same thing as chasing traffic, chasing page views, chasing ad dollars. If you're a big American television network and your job is to get as many visitors as possible, and there's intense competition to do so, you will go after stories that involve as much blood as possible. And I don't know how many people are really, interested in following the interesting smaller stories that make up all of the rest of the fabric. And the beautiful thing about the independent media that I am a part of is that there is room there for the rest of the picture. It's like you have these lenses that focus on this much of life. And yes, we see that too, we acknowledge it, and there are interesting stories to follow there as well. We published an interview recently with a guy who runs Blog del Narco. I think his story is interesting, but it's not the only story. We'd like to take a wider lens, and I encourage my colleagues in other companies to do the same.
Muy bien. ¿Otra pregunta? Adelante.
Sí, gracias. Yo soy Francisco del Olmo y te quiero hacer una pregunta, Xeni. Comentabas en tu presentación de que en ocasiones tenías algunas limitaciones, ¿no?, para sacar tus videos. Voy a tratar de ser también sensible con la pregunta. Entonces yo veo, fronterizo como soy, acceso a los medios de comunicación de Estados Unidos, de México, que digamos hay un cierto nivel como de incredulidad, de descrédito y en cierta medida como de mala reputación, ¿verdad? Entonces tú como creador independiente, como una gente que va a Guatemala, diferentes sitios en el mundo y traes estos videos, pues me hace pensar. Y ahí va mi pregunta, si tú consideras que en algún momento, dado estos medios alternativos, podrían competir con lo que llamamos pues, mass media o estos medios que, bueno, entrecomillados, tienen cierto nivel de control, ¿no?, por las corporaciones gigantescas. Gracias.
I'm not sure if I totally understand that, but I think the response is, I don't expect for the children in that village with those flip cameras to have the same audience as really large media companies. It's not the idea that by increasing the number of people with access to communication platforms that you're somehow going to destroy or dismantle the power structures that exist in media. But you're introducing an interesting element of chaos. It's something that's disruptive, and it's something, like, I don't come there with an agenda or the idea that somehow introducing a few gadgets is going to totally transform life there. Life there sucks. It's really, really hard. There are awful, painful, sad stories that exist there every time we come. But I think that there will be some positive effect to these communities, especially the young people in these communities, having access to those tools. I don't know if I can predict exactly what those effects will be, but just in the same way that 10, 20 years ago, I don't think we would have imagined that like a blog like Boing Boing would be impacting national dialogue in the way that we sometimes do, totally by accident. Technology surprises us. Technology surprises us all. Access to media surprises us all. We can't foresee exactly how that equalization of voice will change things, but it will change things. Maybe not always for the better. A friend of mine, who should be here, a writer named Kevin Kelly, who has a great new book out this week. We were talking about this one time at his home, and he said, if any technology is at least 51% good and 49% bad, that little overlap is like interest that accrues over time, like on your credit card statement. And eventually, hopefully the good will become really, really good. It will amplify, and it will change the world for the better.
Bien, si hacemos la pregunta directa, tenemos tiempo para una más.
Good morning. I will make first the question in English and then in Spanish for everyone. My question is, for example, like projects like BB Television, do you think that someday they will compete with CNN, not on the budget side or big, but sometimes, you know, these respond to some interests, you know, and basically, you know, you present different stories. Do you think they will compete with these kind of stories? You know, people will go more to the internet than really to television to see these. And a second question: do you think that it could help also, you know, independent journalism, you know, to probably help students, you know, to really see different problems like immigration, like narcotics and everything, to really, you know, be more conscious and to really solve the issues? La pregunta que le hacía es, por ejemplo, compañías como BB Television, por ejemplo, si algún día competirán en rating con CNN, con otras compañías grandes, en el sentido de que estas compañías responden a diferentes intereses. Entonces,
perdón, casi todos traen su traductor.
Okay.
Como se nos terminó el tiempo, I think the first question was already answered with the question before, right? So if you want to answer the second question.
I'm sorry, the second question again, real quickly.
La segunda pregunta, ¿cuál fue? Así, en dos palabras.
Sí. Dos.
Okay. If it can help, you know, for students to really know problems in immigration culture.
Sure, sure. Just really quickly also to the first question, that's already happening. CNN recently started some kind of partnership with VBS TV, Vice TV's video project. I love their work. That to me was interesting because Vice TV does some very, very edgy stuff, like what we do, like what some of the other independent guys do. I was shocked. I think that's an example of things to come. Yes, I would love for our material to be viewed by those same audiences as well. And I think more to the point, like beyond what I do, those boundaries are becoming permeable, just like the border crossing. When they become, when there's little holes for things to go either way casually, a more interesting dialogue starts to happen. The medium doesn't matter anymore. Marshall McLuhan, I think, is now wrong. The story matters. The medium is agnostic. It's incredibly important for young people to begin to learn how to tell these stories. Media isn't just Facebook and Twitter and the small, cheap, transient little bits of conversation that we have with each other. There's nothing wrong with that. It's part of life. But if I were doing anything other than what I was doing, it would be teaching the tools of media creation to young people. Yes, it is imperative, not just because we need more video to watch. There's already a lot to watch on YouTube, but because to create is to become conscious. To create is to become aware of your surroundings in a new way. It changes where your mind is. It changes your perception of yourself and your place in the universe. Solving problems like the immigration crisis, solving the problems of the economy, solving all of the problems that stem around narco-trafficking are part of that, but also creating what the world will become in even broader terms tomorrow.
Bien, pues muchas gracias.
Thank you very much.